And I realized I just didn't want to go around people. That's a part of anxiety.
Right.
And I was questioning myself, why are you feeling this way? You love humanity. Why are you feeling this way? And the answer was, again, anxiety disorder and PTSD. And I had remedies. And I've been working on it ever since. And self-care is so important, especially to us, to Black women.
Right.
It's so important. But before the word self-care, you have to know what you're taking care of.
Right. Welcome to another episode of Strong Place by Mental Health America of Central Carolinas. I'm Io Johnson, Executive Director. And today with me as my guest, I have the very lovely, astute, and powerful Valarie R. Brooks. Valarie is not just a real estate mogul with over $1 billion, with a B, dollars in sales. She is a walking testament of resilience, endorsed by both Forbes and Fortune. Her journey with purchasing her first house at 19, inspired by her mother's principle that you are the only one that can place limitations on your life, showcases her rise to become a celebrated real estate powerhouse and transformative coach. Despite a crippling downturn in 2007 that led her tested in every conceivable way, from a devastating divorce and the loss of her father to battling for her life in the hospital, Valarie emerged stronger. In late 2021, Valarie faced further trials. Her mother passed away, and she became the victim of severe identity theft and business compromise. Just 4 weeks later, a car accident left her with a traumatic brain injury, causing her to lose memory and cognition for over a year. A week after her accident, her sister suffered a heart attack. But despite these immense hardships, Valarie's strength and perseverance has shown through. That led to a PTSD and anxiety disorder. Today, as the founder of Valarie R. Brooks Real Estate and a Transformation and Business Coach Academy, she's dedicated to teaching others how to build sustainable success and resilience. Her accolades include Who's Who in America, the 12-year winner of the 5-star Professional Award, and recognition as a trailblazing woman and elite businesswoman, underscore just a few of her achievements. She's been featured on HGTV and the Dream TV show and the American Dream TV show. Valarie, she's more than just a real estate expert. She's a guiding light for reinvention and achieving your highest potential. Please help me welcome Valarie to Strong Place. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Absolutely. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for allowing me to be here to share my story.
Yeah, thank you for accepting my invitation to join us on Strong Place. When I was told a little bit about your testimony and your story of resilience, I knew I just had to meet you. And we talked a little bit on the phone, and what is normally maybe a 10 to 15 minute pre-interview, pre-show conversation with you and I think we were on the phone like an hour.
We were.
Just chatting like we had known each other forever.
And I still feel that way.
Yeah. And so I was excited to have you, and when you said yes, because I think that I can learn so many things from you, and I think our audience today is going to get a great reward about hearing your story.
Hope so. That's my dream, is to make impacts and to make differences in others' lives, especially women over 40.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. So I certainly hope to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm thankful that you brought me here.
Thank you. So I read a little bit about your story, just from your bio, but I want you to tell the audience about your, just tell us about your personal mental health story, and how all of the things that you have been able to overcome has brought you to where you are today.
Okay. Wow. My life has been full of storms. But my mom, who is still, even though she's transitioned, my guiding light. And my dad is my wisdom speaker into my ear. And I hear a lot of things that they said to me growing up. And the main one that resonates with me most is my mother talking about the eye of the storm. And of course, as a young girl, I didn't quite understand what that meant. And she would always say, just keep I need for you to remain calm. I was I like to use the word vibrant, but I wasn't calm. I was not a calm child.
Okay.
And we didn't know why, but I'll tell you that later. We found out why. But I was very smart and very, very diligent. But she used to always say, the eye of the storm, Valarie, the eye of the storm. And she later told me, when I was able to understand, that the Bible teaches you that the eye of the storm is calmness amidst chaos.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I learned that at a very early age. Now, growing up, I had a pretty good childhood. Now, my dad did suffer from PTSD, and I was born with a hearing deficiency, and my sister was born with a heart defect. But we had loving parents. But I'm going to start with my biggest challenge as of today.
Okay.
We'll start with that.
All right.
Because when I hear all those accolades that you gave me, I sometimes say to myself, that is not the Valarie R. Brooks that I know. Because
That's good.
it's the Valarie R. Brooks I know in 2021 experienced the highest level of identity theft and business compromise that the Charlotte Mecklenburg police said that they've ever run into. They had to hand it over to the FBI. And these hackers stole my website. They illegally ported my phones, and they tried to get 52 merchant accounts in my name, in my business name. It cost me a lot of money. And everybody's like, well, Valarie, did you get your money back? You don't understand. I had to pay for attorneys.
Right.
I had to pay for tech specialists. And now the sunny side of that is I can put my Social Security number on a billboard now and not worry about anything. But it costs to the tune of $300,000.
Wow.
Yes. And that was very stressful. And during that time, my mother became ill. And again, my mother was my best friend, and I was her daddy's girl. And it was just me and my sister, two of us. We have a very small family. And as you read, my father had already passed. And when she became ill, I was determined to keep her alive. Now, I'm dealing with hackers, and my mother just became gravely ill. So I had to fly to her, and I was in the hospital with her 60 days and 60 nights. And during that time, I had holding my computer on the right hand, fighting hackers, okay? And all this time, I'm holding my mother's hand while she's fighting for her life.
Wow.
Hackers, my mom fighting for her life. It was very, 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 I'm just going to simply say the word tough. It was one of the hardest times of my life. Later on, of course, my mom passed away. I'm getting a little emotional, so you have to forgive me for a moment. During that time, she became sick, and later on, she transitioned, and that was very hard for me. 3 weeks after she transitioned, I was in a car accident. That car accident caused multiple bruises and a brain injury, a traumatic brain injury that caused me to lose my memory in 2022 and the beginning of 2023. And I had to have quite a bit of therapy. I was falling. I was sleepwalking. I called my sister to ask her to speak to my mom on several occasions, and that's when they started realizing something's not right with Valarie, because we didn't know I had lost my memory. I didn't know I had lost my memory. I was moving on, not normally, but thinking that everything was normal. You know, I'm strong. I can handle anything. I'm resilient. I am woman. I got this. That's exactly what I thought. But I did not have it. I did not have it. And when we realized that I did not have my memory, I then said, I don't have it, and I'm going to get it back. But I am going to have to go through what it takes for me to go through to get it back. I am not going to pretend I'm strong, because right now I'm not strong. I could not be strong.
Right.
But I was very blessed, and I had strong people in my midst. Losing my memory has been very traumatic. For a while, we thought that the concussion that I sustained, we thought that all of my symptoms was due to the concussion. Okay? The falling, the anxiety, the nervousness, the loud noise. I just heard a loud noise a moment ago, and I jumped. And it took me over 2 years. I've just started driving a couple of months ago. And we thought all of, my friends and family, and even the doctor that I was going to, we thought it was due to the concussion. But after a while, we were like, no, Valarie, your concussion is great. You're fine now. Well, why am I still having these symptoms? Why am I still nervous? Why do I still wake up with my heart beating really fast? Why do I jump with noises? Why do loud noises give me headaches? Why am I afraid to go outside?
Right.
I didn't even want to go outside. I did all of what I could do inside my house. And thankfully, I had built my business to where my business can run without me. And that's another testament. I had built my business to run without me. So thank God for no money problems.
Right.
No money problems. But we could not figure it out. And finally, my doctor said, I'm going to send you to a neuropsychologist. And he asked me many, many interesting questions. And it narrowed down to, Valarie, you have anxiety disorder along with PTSD. And of course, strong woman, are you kidding me? That's not me.
Right.
And he's like, it is you. But when I realized that, the word awareness just hit me. And I know some people, would look at me strangely and say, Valarie, why are you happy that you have mental anxiety disorder along with PTSD? Why are you happy? Because I know. Because I'm aware. Right. And I understand. So now we can work on a remedy. Because we didn't know at first. I didn't know. Right. But after talking with my psychologist, I realized I've had anxiety disorder for quite some time. For quite some time. And it's a wonderful thing to find out what's going on with you. It's nothing wrong with me. It's what's going on with me. And when you find out that you can fix things and things can be fixed, that you're not, you can be fixed and you can work on being fixed instead of pretending there's nothing wrong and not fixing. Right. I'm using the word fix because most people say, let's fix that. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. I want to fix this. I don't want to pretend like there's nothing wrong. Right. Let's not use the word wrong. I don't want to continue to move as if there are things I need to correct, if there's not things that I need to correct. There are things that I need to correct so that I can feel 100%. I did not want to go around people. I stopped taking invites. I stopped going out. I was ordering food in. I was afraid of society. I used COVID as an excuse. I'm not going out. You guys may think COVID is over. I'm not doing it. I stayed home. And I realized I just didn't want to go around people. That's a part of anxiety. Right. And I was questioning myself, why are you feeling this way? You love humanity. Why are you feeling this way? And the answer was, again, anxiety disorder and PTSD. And I had remedies. And I've been working on it ever since. And self-care is so important, especially to us, to Black women.
Right.
It's so important. But before the word self-care, you have to know what you're taking care of.
Right.
You know, if I were to go to the spa and just relax, but if I were to walk out and a loud noise makes me jump, am I really taking care of the exact problem? You need to pinpoint what the problem is before you even say, okay, I'm going to a spa to relax. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But find out what it is that's really hitting you. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does. You were talking about self-care, right?
Yes.
And I was thinking about when you were saying, like, I need to know what I want to correct.
Yes.
And I was thinking about you can't defeat what you can't identify.
That's
right?
Exactly right.
And so for you, identification of what was going on for you became extremely important. Mm-hmm. And then I love what you said about self-care, because self-care, that the key word in there being self, right? You can care for a lot of different things. You can care for people, but you need to know how to take care of self,
exactly.
right? And so for you, it was more about going to the spa or maybe getting nails done. You really needed to pinpoint and identify those things. So I love that story. So you get diagnosed with anxiety disorder and PTSD. Do you immediately go into therapy? Do you see a psychotherapist? What became your course of treatment to help you get to this point now where you're kind of like back and being, able to go out?
Well, I am blessed myself to be a coach as well as a dysbehavior specialist. Mm-hmm. My psychotherapist is wonderful, is wonderful. So I have the blessing of her. Mm-hmm. I also have the blessing of my mother's favorite thing that she used to tell me, the Bible, the definition of the eye of the storm. Mm-hmm. It's calm amidst chaos, as well as I truly believe that being calm rules your universe. So my therapist, along with those other concepts that I work within, has helped me immensely. Mm-hmm. Self-care for me may be different than self-care for you.
Right.
Self-care for me is meditating. Mm-hmm. Self-care for me is breathing techniques. Mm-hmm. Self-care for me is not allowing not even a speck of toxicity in my life. Right. Not a speck. Mm-hmm. If you were to visit my house, you would see this is my happy place. And just about everybody that comes over, they fall asleep because it's my sanctuary.
It's so peaceful.
It's so peaceful. And I am happy to say that I've been like that all my life. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't hard for me to see a therapist. It wasn't hard for me to delve into self-care. It wasn't hard for me to remain calm as soon as I became aware.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it sounds like you do some similar practices that I do. I was taught about like how to center, right? And I do the breathing practices also. Mm-hmm. And I also see a therapist, right? It's all the things that I try to use all of those remedies, all of the methods that we are given in this modern life, right? In this modern age. Let's talk a little bit about the real estate business, because it sounds like you fell in love with real estate young. You bought your first house at 19.
I did.
Was that the catalyst for you going into real estate, or was there something in between?
The catalyst was my father.
Okay.
Yes. When I was 6 years old, my sister and I, again, it's just my dad, my mom, my sister and I, and we were very close. But when I was about 6 years old, one Saturday, the first Saturday of each month would be Daddy and Val's Day. Okay. Nobody else would be my daddy, just me and Dad. And my family owns land in a little small town in Georgia. We still own that land. And my dad was smart enough and had the wherewithal to place mobile homes on those houses. I mean, mobile home houses on the land.
Right.
Okay. And on the first Saturday of each month, when the world was a much calmer world, my dad used to pick up the money. He would visit each mobile home and he'd pick up the first month's rent.
Right.
And I would go along with him. And then that would be such a great adventure. I would see the money come into my dad's hand. It would either be cash or checks. And from that point, my dad and I would go to Burger King. And I was a foodie. So that was the highlight of my life.
Right.
That was the highlight. I'm still a foodie, but it's not Burger King anymore.
Have it your way, Burger King now, right?
In my way. I loved it. And it was, my dad and I would sit there and we'd have this great conversation. And this is really his story. He let people know that one day at Burger King, he and I was sitting there eating. And I just remember the money going into his hand and then us going to Burger King and the food going into our mouth.
And you made that correlation.
I made that correlation at 6 years old.
Yes.
And I looked at him and said, Dad, is it because these are my 6-year-old words and I'm not going to change them around? Is it because we get the money from the people that we're able to sit down and eat at Burger King? And he said that it just made him grin from ear to ear. And he said, absolutely. But the first key to the real estate is owning it. Right. Owning it.
Yes.
And that is when real estate entered into my DNA. And from that day on, I knew that I wanted to go into real estate, but I didn't know how. I just knew that I wanted to see the money come from a hand, and take me to Burger King. I wanted that Whopper. I wanted those fries, Sprite, and an apple pie. Now, I can't eat all that like that now. But that's what I wanted. Right. I wanted to be able to eat the rest of my life. So that is how real estate became inside my DNA. And then when I graduated from high school and stepped onto the course to the campus of Georgia State University, I would sit in class and dream about a house, my house. And I called my dad and I said, I want to buy a house. Now, my mom was very prim and proper, 9-to-5er, education. Oh, no, you're not buying a house. That's too much trouble. You need to wait until you graduate. No. My dad was like, okay, baby girl, where we going? I want a house. Okay, we just won't tell your mom. He introduced me to a real estate agent. Wow. And I bought a house at 19. I still have that house today.
Really?
Yeah, that was only 5 years ago.
Okay.
5 years ago.
Okay, man.
But I still have that house today. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a very vibrant area now. And I will tell you, it was $30,000 then.
Oh, and I can only imagine because the Atlanta market is so hot. What is it worth now?
A beautiful penny. It's worth about $675. Wow. Isn't that something?
That is something.
Of course, we've been working on it along the way. Yeah. And I still have it. And that's there for my kids. And that is how real estate, I started seeing it. I just fell in love with it. And bought that house. I had no idea really of what it would bring me. From that point on, my mother finished school. My dad, let's go look at another house. My mom finished school. My dad, let's go look at another house. So I just did both. I finished school.
And went to look at another house. And so you kept adding houses onto like your real estate portfolio even in your 20s?
I did. Okay. In my 20s, I accumulated 3 homes.
Okay.
In my 20s.
So real estate, and you and I talked a little bit about the real estate industry. Nowadays you see a lot of real estate agents on social media, and that's how they sell and kind of get referrals. And I think that people see the glamour side of real estate now,
exactly,
because that's how social media portrays it. They see these beautiful reels and photo shoots and it's especially in the Atlanta market, I think it's become very, very glamorous. But there's a stressful side to real estate.
And that's exactly why I have taken the position that I've taken as a real estate coach, a business coach, and a transformation coach. When I started teaching real estate agents real estate, I was teaching the mechanics of real estate. Real estate is a very high impact, demanding, stressful career. If you're wearing red bottom shoes from real estate, trust me, by the time you finish, they won't be red anymore.
Right.
No, ma'am.
Right.
Because what most people don't realize, Io, is that you're working with different personalities. For example, I'm a DISC behavior specialist. And prior to all of my trauma, it really helped me because of the fact that, I'll give you an example. I was working with a young lady that was bipolar. I knew that there was something not quite, I guess I could use the word right, or something was amiss. And later on, her mom told me she was bipolar. That was very stressful for me. And I made a decision whether I had to sit back and think, do I want to work with this young lady or not? Now, that particular incident made me very aware of several things. One, you have to learn how to work with many, 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 many more people. I thought that I was a flight attendant first, and I wanted to learn different cultures. I never thought about learning different personalities.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I learned, okay, you're going to have to add to cultures. You're going to have to add personalities and behavior. Two, you'll have to decide from this point on who you want to work with and who you do not want to work with.
Right.
How do you do that, Valarie? You're going to build a business that's sustainable. And the way you build a business that's sustainable, you have to learn all aspects of it. You can't just say, I wake up one day and say, oh, I just love looking at houses. That's not how it works. That's not the backstory. I love looking at houses too, but I love being strong mentally because you have to realize you're dealing with all types of personalities out there. Narcissists, you're dealing with a lot of people with mental disorders because there are a lot of undiagnosed mental disorders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I believe I've seen them all. In 25 years, I believe I've seen them all. So what happens with that, if you want to stay in that industry and not hit a brick wall, that will eventually happen, or if you hit that brick wall, you need to know why. That is why I started coaching transformation.
Right.
That is why I started coaching transformation. And I infused transformation in with my real estate training. And my agents that I teach now really appreciate it. They didn't want to hear it at first. Oh, Valarie, I don't want that. That's mushy stuff. Okay. Well, call me in a couple of years.
Right.
Right.
And if this industry has tossed you to and fro a little bit.
Right. And it's a wonderful industry. Don't misunderstand me, because I've met so many great people in my career. And now I'm teaching so many great people how to work inside that career.
Right.
And, social media is the new fake. And likes, I can't remember how it goes, but they say likes are the new fake or something like that. And it's okay. Social media is what it is. I mean, I like it. I use it for what it's worth, and I look at it for what it's worth. But they show the glamour of it, but they don't necessarily show the grit of it.
Right. I think you just said something that when you have like a post or a reel or a video or something that goes viral on social media, the 15 minutes of fame, kind of when we grew up on, that used to be real far and few between, right? But now you can have that 15 minutes of fame pretty regularly now due to social media. You could be just, the average Joe, but if you happen to get a reel that goes viral on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, you hit your 15 minutes of fame. And so I think social media has created a lot more occurrences of that.
Yeah,
And I think that social media also does have some effect on our mental health. But I
so much.
wanted to, when you were talking about, just the real estate industry and it being tough and how you use your transformational coaching to address that. What are some of the more common themes I think that you would see that you have come across when it comes to real estate agents and how that industry has been affecting their mental health?
First and foremost, I've learned that your mental behavior is what drives your performance. So personally, your mental disposition, a realtor's mental state drives, and not just a realtor, in any business. So your mental state drives your performance. Does that make sense?
Yes, it actually does.
Good. I'm so glad.
So the level, the quality of your mental health is really going to have a direct impact on your success.
Exactly.
Okay.
Your personal life has everything to do with your business life because they have to mesh.
Right.
They have to mesh. The main issue that we just talked about, one is I had an agent. And I literally had to refer her to a therapist because she wanted the life of social media.
Right.
And the more that I tried to show her the real life of real estate, the more she rebelled. So I run into that often, not at that height. But that even surprised me. And she even said, why aren't you on Real House of Atlanta? Why aren't you on, well, first of all, I live in Charlotte, but Valarie, why aren't you on a reality show? My life is real. This is my reality.
Right.
This is my real reality.
Right.
And I'm not saying anything negative about it. Yeah, whatever works for whatever, but the reason that she wanted to be into real estate was because of what she saw on social media. So my goal was to teach her differently. And then I found out that there was a deeper problem. I'm not a therapist, and I let everybody know that. And I referred her to a therapist, and she's doing quite well. And she's changed her mind about the real estate industry. But social media does have a huge impact.
Right.
And the other impact is that a lot of realtors need help before they can help. I had one of my agents said to me, and she put it on a video, this was her biggest eye-opening session with me. And she said it has helped her immensely. You think because you've sold a lot of real estate that you can teach others how to sell. And her words were, you need to get your mental state in order before you attempt to teach any others. And as you grow, you really need mental health as your profession grows.
Right. Right. Yes. Because the higher you achieve, the more you achieve, the more success you achieve, the higher the stress. And people don't realize that.
Yes. And it's easy to get there. It's harder to stay there.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
Yes. And I've lived that.
That's really good. You had mentioned when we were talking earlier about being passionate about women and specifically women over a certain age. So what do you think are some of the unique challenges that women face? And then specifically, women of us a more seasoned stature.
Yeah. I love working with us. And the reason I love working with us is because I am an us. And, and I'm sure you've heard your mom say, if you could know then what you know now.
Right.
Okay. And I am really surprised at how I can now, and now I get what my mom said, and I have grandkids. I didn't even quite get it with kids, but you can literally see what's going on without even being there. And what I've learned with women over 40 and some a little bit younger is that we've reached an area in our lives that that next ceiling break, we don't know which way to go, especially successful women. And success is relative.
Yes.
It doesn't mean how much money you make.
Nope.
It means successful, in my opinion, is how happy you are in your life. I don't care how much money you have. If you're not happy, I cannot imagine your life being the way you want it to be.
Right.
What is the name of that coach of the Dallas? I don't remember his name. I'm just going to tell you this right quick. It amazed me and knocked me off my feet. I saw an interview with him. He's a billionaire. His wife said that every time he wakes up, every morning he wakes up, he's afraid of losing his money. He doesn't buy anything extravagant because of his fear of his money.
You talking about Mark Cuban, the owner
No.
of Dallas Mavericks?
I don't.
Okay.
I love football like that. But Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can say this because it was on an interview.
Right. Okay.
I think that was his name, but that was an eye-opening moment for me. Because if you're not happy, that's not successful. So that is why it's important for women of our 40 plus. Let's just say 40 plus.
Yeah.
Women 40 plus are normally at a place where they're looking to make a difference. They're looking to make change.
Right.
But they've had so many challenges, and they've been busy being who they are with their children or with their husband or with their parents or with their career, that now they're ready to do something, but they're looking around and don't know how or what to do.
Right.
I have all this talent. I have all this grace. I have all this money. I have all this whatever, but I don't know how to break that next ceiling.
Right.
And that's where I come in. We do a full assessment. And it started with me in realtors. And then it bled over into business owners.
Gotcha.
And now I even have solid transformation courses. I have real estate courses and I have business courses. But if you look at it, it's all a necessary need. It's all a necessity.
Right.
And that's what I see with us, because we've made it to 40 plus. But where do we go from here?
Right. And I think a lot of times society just expects us to go away after 40, and we're really just blossoming. We're just budding most of the time, because especially as women, often you don't even know who you are until you hit 40.
That's right.
I remember
agree.
waking up on my 40th birthday like, I have made it 4 decades. Single mom, just,
Beautiful.
roller coaster of a life in terms of experiences. Grew up in New York as a young child. So I just remember thinking like, what can I do? I lived 40 years. Like my superpower, I felt like just emerged, just turned on when I hit 40. So to me, it's not the end, it's the beginning.
I agree 100%.
And I would love for more people in general, but especially women, to know that we do get better with time. We're like fine wine.
Yes,
we just get better with time.
And I've never given in to societal norms. Never have I. The young lady that I was working with yesterday, she's so overwhelmed. She's so successful, but she said, Valarie, I'm so overwhelmed. And that's exactly what you just said after you get to 40. You just said that. Most people call it, I forget just real quickly the word you just used, but it's all over, you're overwhelmed at that point. It could be overwhelmed with goodness.
Right.
And it could be overwhelmed with confusion. And you just have so much of whatever is overwhelming you. Who do I go to? Because I'm so accustomed to everybody coming to me.
Right.
I'm used to being the smartest woman in the room, or the smartest person in the room.
Right.
And thus, most successful women experience that.
Right.
Who do I go to?
Right. Who do I connect with? Who do I like
There you
arms
go.
with? And And a lot of times we're looking to elevate our circles as we get to a certain, stage in our life, a certain age in our life. So I definitely get that. And I think making sure, to your point earlier, that your mental health is good at that point. So because if it's not, you can choose your circles very, very wrongly. And that can take your life back years. If you choose your partner wrong, and choose your circle of influence wrong.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look around you and whomever's surrounding you, your close surroundings, that's really who you are.
Right. That's good.
That's really who you are.
That's good. Look at your circle. You'll see who you are. And sometimes, though, especially if you choose while your mental health isn't optimal, and you choose that circle wrongly, even if that's not you, you start to become it. And then you have to kind of almost battle back to that, to ground zero, and then build from there.
I think there's confusion in that. I think it starts with, number one, you hear people saying, I need you to be my peace. No, you need you to be your peace.
Right.
And you need to be with that person who's their peace, and then you have peace together.
Yes,
okay?
Absolutely.
And that's with the opposite sex as well as the the same sex.
Right.
Your friends, you're not responsible for them. You're not responsible. But as women, we're such natural nurturers that we feel responsible for everybody in our walk. We're not responsible if we are moving in a different direction and a friend of 40 years is moving in another direction. You're not leaving the friendship. You're leaving the energy that no longer serves you.
That's good.
That's
good.
You're not responsible for her walk. And that's how I was able to let I told my mother. She waited for me. I was in the Bahamas. And my sister called me. I turned right back around. And she waited for me. And I said, Mom, you're not responsible for us. Everybody has their own journey. And I know who you're ready to go to. I knew she was ready to go home to God. But she was hanging on because of us.
Right.
And it hit me even harder than when I learned she's not responsible for my journey. And I'm not responsible for hers. And I have to let her go. Right. So that is the same concept that I use in my life with people.
Right.
I'm not going to be your peace, I.O. But I will be your peaceful friend because I'm at peace. But you have to be your own peace. I hear men saying that, oh, I just need a woman to bring me peace. Do you not have your own peace?
Right. Oh. That could be a whole other episode, Valarie.
I'm sorry.
That could definitely be a whole other episode. But
I just love this subject.
Yes, me too. Be your own peace.
Be your own peace.
So I really appreciate you being here today. I would love for you to talk to the audience and tell them, give it your parting words. What's the one thing, if you could say to America, that you want them to know today?
The one thing that I think that I can share with you that can be a part of your personal life as well as your business life, if you want a sustainable personal life and a sustainable business life, as you step into your next journey, leave the last journey of people, processes, or whatever you had with their integrity.
That's good.
It matters. How you leave, how you enter matters. Thanks for listening. And thanks for having me.
I love that. Also tell our audience where they can find you on social media.
Very, very simple. And please follow me and let's dialogue. I absolutely love it. I'm getting more and more into social media every day. I am Valarie R. Brooks, and Valarie is spelled with Valarie, as well as my coaching channels are Master the Minds, and Valarie R. Brooks. Easy to follow. Easy to find.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Strong Place by Mental Health America, Central Carolinas. You can follow us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at MHA of Central Carolinas. I'm Io Johnson, Executive Director. Thank you for joining us.